Alright, so today we're going to log our science kits onto our manual log and also the computer, our electronic log. To begin, you're going to find a computer that's labeled Logging a Science Kit, which we have right here above the monitor. Now, if you look at the list of procedures, we're going to start at number 1. Get the forms you need to complete this task. Now, the two forms we have are an order sheet, as the list describes, and also we have a visual image of it. We have the order sheet, also we have the log sheet. So, number 1, we have checked off there. We got both documents. As we follow the procedure, number 2, we're going to find the blank invoice spot on the log sheet. So down here I find the next available line. Number 3, we're going to write that number on top of our order form. Now when you look at both forms, you notice that the invoice is marked number 1 on the log sheet. It's also labeled number 1 on your order form. You're going to match these up. So for your invoice number on my new line, I'm going to write, as my log sheet tells me, K13152. Okay, number 3's on our procedure list is checked off. Moving on to number 4. Just like I found number 1 on the log sheet in the order form, I'm going to number 2, which is the kit type. Now if I look at number 2, I notice that is the color red. If I look at my order form, there's also red with the same number, kit type. I match these up. The order form tells me what type of kit, micro worlds. I write micro worlds. Now, as our procedure tells me, on number 5, do the same for box 3, 4, and 5, matching the colors. So I'm going to do the same thing I did for 1 and 2. I'm going to move on to number 3, and as number 3 tells me, it is district, color blue. I look at my order form, 3, blue, Garnet Valley School District. I write that. I'm going to do the same thing for number 4 and 5. I'm matching up colors and numbers. Moving on to 5 is teacher. I write the teacher's name. And then today's date, and my name that I recorded this information. Okay, so everything's laid out for you. It's simply a matter of matching number and color. The information is provided for you. You have your procedure list in front of you, your checklist, just to make sure you're doing it right. Just check off as you go, and then you'll be assured that you're doing this task correct. Okay, so now we've completed the procedure for writing on the written log, and now what we're going to do is save this information electronically into our database on the computer. Now we have an identical log in Microsoft Excel form. So you're going to find your log file on the computer, kit log, it tells you right here, and you're going to open that file up. As you double click, it's going to open up to Microsoft Excel to a screen that's very familiar. This screen, and this log sheet is identical to the one we just wrote on. I'd like to point out, it's the same colors as our log sheet. You can hold it up, it's the same form. This one's electronic, this one's written. And simply what we're going to do is input the information from the written log sheet onto the one on the computer. So I'm going to find my invoice number 1, K13152, which I just wrote. Now I'm just going to write this information, type the information I wrote into the computer. So number 2, I'm going to find number 2, kit type, micro worlds. I'm going to type that in. Moving on to number 3, district, Garnet Valley. Moving on to 4, the school. 5, the teacher. Now all I'm really doing is just looking down at my log sheet, because I already have this information written. I'm just copying the information onto the computer to have it stored in our database. Once I'm done typing, I'm just going to go back one more time, just double check that the information I have written on the log sheet matches that on the electronic log on the computer. Once I check that information, I save it, and now that information is stored on our database. And that completes the task for putting the information from your written log sheet onto the electronic database.